Welcome, everyone, to Techaily.ai. Just a quick note before we begin, this exploration is sponsored by Stonefly. They're your trusted solution provider and advisor in enterprise storage, backup disaster recovery, hyper-converged VMware, Hyper-V, Proxmox cluster, AI servers, SA365, which is a turnkey security appliance, plus public and private cloud solutions. Check out stonefly.com for more info. So let's talk smart homes. If you've already started building one, you know the dream is this seamless, integrated experience, but the reality, often it's, well, frustrating. Juggling loads of different apps, devices that just won't play nice together, and that little worry every time you think about buying something new, will it even work with what I have? Today, we want to cut through that noise. We're focusing on two technologies that really seem poised to finally deliver: Thread and Matter. Think of them as like the universal translators and the super reliable highways for your connected home. Our mission today is to sort of demystify how they work together, figure out what makes them special, and show you how they're building a simpler, more reliable, and really importantly, a future-proof smart home. We'll look at how they combine forces and what that actually means day to day, maybe with some real-world examples. Okay, so this smart home problem. We get promises, intelligent living, but it often feels like devices are speaking completely different languages. Wi-Fi, Zigbee, Z-Wave. This fragmentation is not just annoying, it's a real barrier, right? It boxes us in, limits choices, and means we're often stuck troubleshooting dropped sensors or devices that just stop responding. It's a bit like trying to lead an orchestra where half the musicians have the wrong sheet music and the other half keep misplacing their instruments. What we all want is simple. One system, total control, no more head scratching.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is that Thread wasn't just another protocol layered on top. It was designed specifically to fix that underlying network problem for IoT. It's an IPv6-based, low-power mesh networking technology built for the Internet of Things. And that IPv6 piece is actually quite key because it means it's built for huge scale, ready for potentially thousands of devices. Your smart home has room to grow without hitting digital address limits. Essentially, it's your home's private network. It's self-repairing, runs separately from your main Wi-Fi.
Okay, self-repairing mesh network. That sounds amazing for anyone who's fought with devices dropping off constantly. How does that self-healing actually work in practice?
Yeah, it's pretty clever. In a Thread network, basically any device that supports it can connect dynamically and relay messages for other devices. It's not just about making the signal reach further. It means the network literally gets stronger, more resilient, the more Thread devices you add. There isn't that single point of failure like a central hub that if it goes offline, your whole system collapses. If one device drops out for some reason, the others they find another route to talk to each other. The real genius isn't just that it works, but it turns your smart home from this fragile collection of gadgets into a really robust, almost invisible sort of nervous system. That level of reliability, it's been missing.
That definitely tackles a major pain point. So incredible reliability, that's one big tick. What are some of the other core things that make Thread such a good foundation?
Well, beyond the self-healing reliability, there's also amazing energy efficiency. Thread's optimized for really low power use. This means things like, say, a simple door sensor can run for years on one tiny battery. Think of the hassle that saves. And scalability, a Thread network can handle hundreds of devices, up to 250 actually, with 32 active routers. Plenty of room to grow. Security is also crucial. All devices have to be authenticated before they can even join the network, and all the communication is encrypted using AES 128. That's basically banking-level security, but adapted for these small, low-power devices. Keeps things private.
Right, and it's an open standard.
Right.
Developed by the Thread Group, which has all the big names: Google, Apple, Amazon, Samsung. That backing usually signals good things for support and, not becoming obsolete quickly, right?
Absolutely. That open standard is so important. It encourages wide adoption and helps avoid the vendor lock-in that really plagued smart home tech in the past. When you see those industry giants collaborating, you know they're building something foundational that everyone can build on and trust.
So how does Thread actually compare to the networks we know better, like our home Wi-Fi, or even those other low-power options like Zigbee and Z-Wave? Where does it fit?
Good question. Wi-Fi is everywhere. It's fast, but it needs a lot of power, and it depends on that central router or access point. It's great for streaming Netflix or browsing, but it's just not built for tiny battery-powered sensors that only need to send small bits of data occasionally and last for years. Thread uses a different frequency, different power level. It's designed precisely for those small, often battery-run devices, letting you cover the whole house without killing batteries constantly. Now, compared to Zigbee and Z-Wave, there are also low-power mesh networks. but historically they were often proprietary. That led to the exact fragmentation problem Thread is trying to solve. Thread actually evolved from parts of Zigbee, but it's an open standard with some key technical improvements and a friendlier licensing model. That makes it much more practical for lots of different companies to adopt and ensure their stuff works together. And a really key difference, Thread, especially if you have multiple border routers, avoids that single point of failure you often get with a single Zigbee or Z-Wave hub. It's just inherently more resilient.
Okay, so Thread gives us this super solid, self-healing, efficient network the highways built. But we still have that problem of devices speaking different languages, don't we? How do all these wonderfully connected devices actually understand each other? Is that where Matter comes in?
Exactly right. You've nailed the distinction. Thread fixes the connection. Matter fixes the communication. It's the universal smart home protocol. Think of it as the common language that finally lets devices from totally different ecosystems, Apple, Amazon, Google, Samsung, plus lots of others like Aquara, talk directly to each other. It means you stop having to worry if that cool new smart light switch will work with your voice assistant or your existing sensors. Matter makes setup way easier, ensures real cross-platform compatibility. It really delivers on that unified smart home promise.
Okay, this really does sound like the missing piece. So what happens when you put Matter and Thread together? That must be where things get really interesting.
That's the sweet spot. When Matter, the universal language, runs over Thread, that robust self-healing network, you get this amazing combination of reliability, speed, and simplicity. It's, a perfect match. The whole is definitely greater than the sum of the parts here.
That sounds great in theory, but what does it actually feel like for us at home? Can you paint a picture?
Sure. Imagine saying goodnight to your house, and instantly, lights dim, doors lock, the thermostat adjusts, cameras arm, and it doesn't just happen, it happens right away. No lag, no, something went wrong, no needing to try again. Or, think about this, maybe your internet goes out. Usually that cripples your smart home, right? But with Matter running locally over the Thread mesh, those basic interactions, turning lights on locally, checking a sensor, locking a door, they can keep working just fine. Your home stays smart, even if your connection to the outside world drops. That's a huge real-world benefit.
Wow, local control even without the internet. That is a massive shift. Okay, so for someone thinking about this, what are the absolute key benefits of going with Matter over Thread?
Well, the list is pretty compelling. First, real cross-brand compatibility. You can actually mix an Aquara hub, a Samsung TV, an Apple HomePod, an Alexa speaker, have them all trigger the same automation seamlessly. Second, rock-solid network reliability. That sensor on the far side of the house won't just vanish because the mesh finds a way to keep it connected. Third, built-in security. Because a lot of the communication is direct device to device and encrypted locally, your data stays more private, less reliant on the cloud for basic functions. Fourth, you get really quick responses to commands and automations, almost instant. And finally, expanding your system is easy. Adding new stuff, sensors, locks, lights is generally painless. They just join the mesh, often with just a quick scan or tap.
Okay, powerful stuff. But how do these devices actually get onto this Thread network? Do I need to buy a bunch of new specific Thread hubs?
Not usually, no. Thread devices connect to your home network through something called a border router. But the smart thing is, these aren't typically extra boxes you must buy. Often, this capability is built into devices you might already have or be considering. Things like the newer Apple TV 4K, the HomePod Mini, several Amazon Echo devices like the 4th Gen, and later Google Nest hubs, 2nd Gen, even Samsung SmartThings hubs. Many of these can act as your Thread border router. They bridge your Thread network to your regular Wi-Fi or Ethernet network seamlessly.
That makes adoption way easier if the tech is already in devices we own. Can you give some examples of products embracing this?
Yeah, absolutely. You're seeing leading companies jump on this fast. For instance, a hub like the Aquara Smart Hub M3 is interesting because it supports Zigbee, Thread, and Matter. It can even act as a bridge to bring older Zigbee devices into the Matter ecosystem. Then you see new devices like smart locks, maybe from Schlage or Aquara's U200, using Matter over Thread for really secure, fast, and cross-platform control. And for those essential little sensors, think about the Aquara Door and Window Sensor P2, or maybe some of Eve's Thread sensors. They're perfect examples. Thread native, super low power, direct Matter support, long battery life, instant response.
So if I get a new Matter over Thread gadget, how easy is it really to add it? Is the setup simple?
It's designed to be, yes. Very simple for the user. When you turn on a new device, it securely looks for a way into your existing Thread network nearby. Usually you'll scan a code or tap something in an app on your phone. The device then authenticates itself, gets its network credentials like a little passport, and securely joins the mesh. It connects to the nearest suitable device already on the network. Sometimes devices can even upgrade themselves to act as routers to help strengthen the mesh further. But the main thing is, once it has those credentials, reconnecting later if needed is almost instant. Should all feel pretty effortless behind the scenes. Which brings us to, why should you care about this now? If you've held back on building a smart home because of all the compatibility worries or unreliability, well, Matter and Thread feel like the solid foundation we've been waiting for. Investing now means building a system that's flexible and genuinely future-proof. For the companies making devices, it means better products, fewer headaches for them and for you. But ultimately for you, the user, it just means a much better, smoother, less frustrating smart home experience. It's about building on something that finally works the way it was always promised.
That really is a compelling vision. So today we've really dug into how Matter and Thread are working together to fix those big smart home headaches: compatibility, reliability, privacy. Hopefully less guesswork about whether devices will work together, less worry about batteries dying constantly or things just dropping offline. It feels like these technologies are truly making the smart home more accessible, dependable, and secure for everyone.
And maybe here's a final thought to leave you with. As our homes get smarter and more connected, the network underneath it all becomes just as vital as the gadgets themselves. With Matter running over Thread, we're not just adding features. We're fundamentally upgrading the home's nervous system. What entirely new things become possible when that connectivity is just invisible, always there, reliable? When it's not just a feature you add, but the actual seamless foundation everything else is built on. What does that future look like?